I'm completely floored by this next-level workflow that basically turns a mountain of long-form footage into a stack of ready-to-post clips before your morning coffee even finishes brewing. For those who don't know me, I'm Jeff, and these days I'm doing way more than just churning out quick radio drops, which used to consume all my creative energy. If you caught my previous deep dive on content automation, you already know I live to transform tedious, repetitive tasks into tiny, delightful explosions of pure efficiency. Today, I am finally spilling the secret sauce on exactly how I stopped wasting entire afternoons chopping up lengthy videos and started letting intelligent AI actually handle the heavy lifting, which, I have to admit, involved Vizard playing a significant role. Stick with me for just a moment because the sheer panic I once felt recording 60 separate voiceovers for an old radio show, yes, I genuinely faced that specific kind of production pain, mirrors the dread I used to have for video editing. You absolutely know the soul-sucking drill. Record a solid 40-minute interview, then spend the next 3 hours meticulously hunting for those 3 singular golden moments that actually have the potential to perform well across all social platforms. Or, and this is truly the worst-case scenario, you have to manually slice and dice every segment into 30 distinct files, remembering to normalize the audio, compress them correctly, painstakingly name each one, upload them all, and then schedule everything out individually. So, how did this entire transformation actually begin for me, the user who was stuck in that manual loop? I was initially messing around with an old cobbled-together workflow that haphazardly combined a massive spreadsheet, some clunky automation glue, and an AI service for text-to-speech, realizing a fundamental truth about productivity. Every single time you successfully automate a boring, deeply repeatable task, you instantly reclaim a significant chunk of valuable creative time that you can actually spend on growth and engagement. However, that old patchwork method, think Google Sheets talking to Make.com, linking to 11 labs, feeding into Dropbox, all requiring Audacity macros, felt like slapping duct tape onto a high-performance sports car, looking functional but performing poorly. It technically worked, sure, but it was inherently clunky, demanded constant juggling between multiple logins, involved fiddly field mapping you had to check endlessly, and if one tiny mapping was incorrectly set, you'd push out 60 files incorrectly and end up crying into your noise-canceling headphones. This is where Vizard enters the chat because it's the very first dedicated tool I encountered that genuinely understands the creator workflow required for transforming massive videos into an avalanche of perfectly optimized viral clips. Now, let me be clear, this isn't some kind of mystical magic dust that solves every problem instantly. It is simply the result of genuinely smart, purpose-built engineering focused on our specific needs. The platform automatically detects those key highlight moments, extracts them into immediately clip-ready edits, and then hands you everything you need to refine, schedule, and publish across every relevant network without friction. If you're sick of spending a whole afternoon editing only to realize you've left yourself with absolutely zero mental capacity or time left to actually promote the content, then this integrated solution is the definitive fix you have been waiting for. Let me paint you a picture of the operational vibe. Imagine you have one single, epic 45-minute long stream containing interviews, funny bits, technical demos, or whatever valuable content you produced. Instead of manually scanning that entire runtime, you simply feed the source file into Vizard, click a few fundamental settings, and then you just sit back and watch the AI expertly pick out all the moments screaming for viral attention. And this selection process isn't random guesswork, because the algorithm is specifically designed to look for natural spikes in audience energy, recurring key phrases, perfect punchlines, and smooth transitions that naturally lend themselves to short-form virality. It intelligently pulls those high-value moments out, trims them down with incredibly clean in and out points, and makes them immediately ready for final export across your channels. For me personally, a batch process that used to require a multi-hour slog of painful editing now takes mere minutes to generate, which is the kind of time saving that truly changes a business. Now, let me break down the play-by-play for you so you can clearly see exactly where this revolutionary platform saves time and where other more fragmented tools inevitably fall short in the modern landscape. First step, prep the source file, which simply involves uploading your complete long video directly into Vizard, completely eliminating the need to copy and paste timestamps into a spreadsheet or create a dozen separate documentation files because the tool reads the entire context. Second step is the auto edit button, where you initiate the process and watch the AI generate dozens of short clips that are explicitly not just arbitrary, boring cuts, but are mathematically optimized for maximum audience attention spans. Competitor tools that often promise automatic cuts usually just slice the content based on simple length parameters or basic scene changes, which entirely misses the strategic point of creating engaging social content. Vizard, conversely, actually targets those emotionally high moments and ensures extremely clean intros and compelling outros, which is the fundamental secret sauce that makes social videos truly pop off the page. Step 3 is a quick review and tweak, because thankfully you absolutely still maintain complete creative control over the final product, allowing you to easily preview suggested clips and nudge the in-out points if necessary. This entire review phase is intentionally kept incredibly fast because the goal here is not to force you to re-edit everything from scratch, but rather to efficiently approve a series of already high-quality takes. Step 4 is where things get genuinely ridiculous, in the absolute best sense of the word. the integrated content calendar and auto schedule feature allows you to drop your finished clips in, set a posting frequency, and let the AI automatically schedule them across all your designated platforms. Yes, other standalone scheduling tools can handle the final posting action, but they are fundamentally not integrated with the initial clip generation process, which is a massive workflow disconnect. That means with older setups, you were always burdened with the manual steps of exporting every file, organizing the names, uploading them, and setting the schedule one by one, creating constant workflow drag. Vizard completely collapses all of those fragmented steps into one single, smooth, uninterrupted flow that respects your time and mental bandwidth throughout the entire process. Finally, step 5 covers export and distribution, because wanting 60 clips exported as perfectly rendered MP4 files is easily handled. Wanting them pre-sized specifically for the vertical demands of TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts? Absolutely done. Need captions automatically generated from the audio or beautiful, context-aware thumbnails created on the fly? Also done, which is a feature other tools often charge you extra for or force you into third-party services. This multi-account friction, more invoices, and general administrative headache is something Vizard completely abstracts away from your core creative process, which is invaluable. Now, let's talk concrete numbers because I know the inherent skeptic in you is already tuning in, ready to challenge these efficiency claims with hard data. I rigorously tested my old method, which involved manual scanning, cutting in a desktop editor, the export process, audio processing, and then carefully naming every file, and that entire sequence took me a solid 6 to 8 hours just to yield 60 usable clips. With Vizard handling the same workload, the entire process, from the moment of upload right through to the posts being fully scheduled, was completed in roughly 10 to 12 minutes for generation, plus another 5 to 10 minutes for a quick human pass and final calendar tweaks. I need to emphasize that this is not a typo or a marketing exaggeration. We are genuinely talking about reclaiming multiple hours every single week that were previously lost to repetitive, low-value production tasks. I certainly don't want to stand here and suggest that every single tool I mentioned before is now completely useless because platforms like Make.com and 11 Labs are still brilliant at their highly specialized individual jobs. Make.com remains excellent for building out incredibly complex custom automation sequences that require highly specific external triggers and integrations, which is a real strength for advanced users. And the TTS voices from 11 Labs are undeniably stellar when your specific requirement is generating high-quality, unique voiceovers that need that top-tier vocal realism for a particular project. Similarly, Audacity or similar digital audio workstations are still incredibly hard to beat when you require absolute, granular control over detailed audio processing for artistic effect. However, consider the reality. Linking Make.com to all those various external apps simply equals complexity, and for creators who aren't full-time automation engineers, that initial onboarding cost is very real and often paralyzing. If one small configuration error sends your entire batch of 60 newly processed files down the wrong road, you've instantly lost an hour or 3 of focused work into a sunk cost abyss. Furthermore, using 11 Labs for TTS, while sonically fantastic, always introduces an extra, separate step and an entirely separate monthly bill if your primary immediate goal is just to extract short-form clips from your long-form content archive. And those powerful Audacity macros only become useful after you've already manually exported every single clip individually, which necessitates a huge amount of frustrating manual ordering and tedious file management beforehand. Vizard doesn't seek to completely replace those specialized tools if you have incredibly niche, high-level needs, but for the vast majority of creators focused on consistently converting long videos into a steady stream of short clips, it removes an unbelievable number of everyday friction points. The undeniable core selling proposition here is the truly integrated pipeline. Extract, edit, caption, schedule, and publish all contained within one clean space where you can iterate your content strategy with unprecedented speed. Let me share a few practical, hard-earned tips that emerge directly from my own extensive experiments with the platform's capabilities to help fast-track your success. First, you must start small by running just one single long video through Vizard to become intimately familiar with how the AI initially identifies and prioritizes your highlights. Make sure you take the time to actively tweak the sensitivity settings and the preferred clip length parameters so the AI begins to rapidly learn and adapt specifically to your unique creative taste and brand voice. Next, you need to use the content calendar feature, like it's your sacred playbook, intentionally planning out a consistent cadence rather than stressing about posting one random viral hit at the exact right second. Trust me when I say that maintaining consistent, daily or weekly presence almost always beats chasing the unpredictable nature of random one-off viral spikes in the long run for brand building. You can also actively give the AI clear guidelines, such as specifying preferred hooks or mandatory opening phrases for the cut, because the system is designed to deeply adapt to your explicit stylistic choices. A final piece of advice is critical. Try not to be overly precious about every single suggested cut, because the true objective is high volume output combined with high quality, as more good attempts mathematically increases your overall chance of hitting virality. One technical area where creators often get unexpectedly hung up is managing monetization rules and brand safety versions, but Vizard makes it easy to apply specific templates so the AI won't ever cut into sensitive, sponsor-guarded segments. This impressive level of granular control over content safety was something I truly did not expect from a clip generation tool, but it is an extremely appreciated feature for professional operators. Okay, before I wrap this up completely, I need to be completely real with you about the investment required and your resulting expectations regarding the platform's pricing structure. Vizard is definitely not a free service, but then again, neither is all the valuable, non-billable time you are currently wasting doing this repetitive manual editing work yourself every single week. When you actually account for the labor costs and the significant opportunity costs of not publishing more content, Vizard often ends up being the more economical choice compared to paying for a piecemeal stack of separate services. Unlike some single-purpose tools that only solve one tiny problem, Vizard's multi-feature approach is clearly engineered for creators who wisely desire the entire content pipeline managed within one single interface. If your primary focus remains deep, full creative control, advanced mastering in a DIW, or building intricate custom automation logic, then by all means, keep leveraging those powerful specialized tools you already use. But if your main business objective is to efficiently extract the absolute best parts of your long videos, batch create short platform-friendly clips, and schedule them for consistent distribution, then Vizard is legitimately a game-changing piece of software for you. I personally made the swap from a clunky 5-tool workflow to this one clean workspace, and immediately got back entire afternoons every week to spend on high-leverage activities. So what should you do next to truly test this out? Try this small, zero-risk experiment. Take one existing long video, upload it to Vizard, let it auto-edit, select the absolute top 6 clips it suggests, and drop those into your calendar over the next 7 days. Watch what happens to your engagement metrics, and I guarantee you will be genuinely surprised by how much substantial time you get back to finally focus on the creative work that only you can produce. Alright, that summarizes the core gist of how I streamlined my entire operation, but if you want, I can personally walk you through a step-by-step session for a specific piece of content you currently have ready to go. We can pick the absolute best clips together, set up a posting cadence that won't make you dread your editing workflow ever again, and get you started right now. Just drop a link or a specific timestamp below, and I will personally show you how I would turn that into 2 solid weeks of highly engaging social content using this exact system. Until then, my only challenge to you is to keep making the incredible content only you can make, and finally, let these powerful tools handle all of the boring, repetitive parts for you. Peace out, and happy creating in your newfound free time.